Welcome back everyone, it's Eric from Rare Candy here. Today we are back on the channel taking a look at some more team up content. So today we're taking a look at Magikarp Wailord Tag Team GX and Blastoise. And this is for the standard format. Very important to point out, this is not nearly as good, I think, or similar to the Archie-Stoise deck featuring Magikarp Wailord Tag Team and Expanded. This is kind of a standard Blastoise Magikarp Wailord deck. A lot different though, whereas that one is, super fast and expanded and very aggressive. This one's much slower. This is actually very similar to Primal Groudon, if any of you guys have played that archetype in the past or an Expanded. This is actually very similar in terms of how the deck functions. And actually too, this deck was selected by one of our patrons, TRBarron, over at patreon.com/rarecandytcg. So if you guys are unfamiliar with our Patreon, depending on how much someone decides to pledge, one of the perks they get is they can actually choose video topics for us to create. And Tyler wanted to see Wailord, and he also wanted to see Blastoise, so I decided, let's try out this deck here and see what we can make happen. So if you guys want to learn more about how to have an even bigger say over the type of content we put out on this channel, definitely feel free to head over there. I will have a link down below in the description for you to check out. But like I said, let's get back to the deck at hand. The main attacker here is going to be the Magikarp and Wailord GX. This is, I guess, technically in Team Up. This is the promo one, but the full arts and all that stuff, I believe, are still in Team Up as well. So this thing is an absolute beast of a card, 300 HP, the biggest Pokemon I think we have in the game. 4 retreat cost, grass weakness, has a couple of interesting attacks, the first of which for 5 water does 180, a little bit costly, but we have a ton of energy acceleration to get this guy up and running. And then it has this GX attack, Towering Splash GX, just a single water energy to do 10 damage. Nothing special, of course, but if you have 7 extra water energies, you do 100 to each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So we have a pretty big, like cleanup attack potentially to snipe a lot of low HP basics and stuff like that, or even some of the other more like low HP attackers in the format, like Lost March, just as an example as well. So this is going to be ideally our big late game attacker. We're only playing 2 copies of this guy. But for the most of the game, we're actually going to be attacking with Articuno. This is a new legendary bird that we got in the new set Team Up. And this is what kind of makes the deck kind of similar to Primal Groudon, like I was saying. Has this ability, Blizzard Veil. So once this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, whenever your opponent plays a supporter from their hand, prevent all effects of that card done to your benched water Pokemon. So this is kind of like giving Omega Barrier to everything on your bench. Omega Barrier, of course, is the ancient trait that Primal Groudon has. So this is what I mean. Primal Groudon in the past kind of throws these wall Pokemon like Wobbuffet and stuff active while you slowly build up a Groudon to start attacking with. And that's really what we're doing here as well. We're going to throw Articuno active while we are slowly building up a Wailord over the course of a game. And its attack is actually pretty good as well, for 2 water to 70, and move 2 water from this Pokemon to one of your benched Pokemon. So ideally, how our games are going to go is we're going to set up a couple of these Articunos. We're going to basically cycle energy between them until we're ready to start attacking with Wailord. That's what we're going to be trying to do with this deck. And then the other key component in our main way of accelerating energy is going to be a 3-1-3 Blastoise line. This is, of course, the new one from Team Up. Has this pretty interesting ability here, Powerful Squall. Once during your turn before you attack, you may look at the top 6 cards of your deck and attach any number of water energy cards you find there to your Pokemon in any way that you like. So this is actually kind of a better version of Max Elixir, but we can, attach multiple energies. We can put energies on the active, which Max Elixir wouldn't let us do. So this is going to be our energy acceleration at ensuring we can get Wailord up and running and keep attacking with Articunos also throughout the course of a game. And also just want to briefly point out, we are choosing to play the 50 HP Squirtle because it has this ability Floating Shell. If you have a Stadium in play, which we do run this deck, we have Brookwood Hill. This Pokemon has no retreat cost, so ideally we want to throw Articuno active most every game. So if we start with Squirtle, we want to have a way to more easily get it out of the active spot safely back onto the bench. And so that's it for the Pokemon line, guys. If you'll notice, we actually play no copies of Tapu Lele GX. We play no copies of Marshadow or anything like that. The reason for that is because we want to optimize our chances of starting with Articuno in this deck. And so also too, if we have something like Tapu Lele, that could potentially be an easy 2 prizes at some point. Wailord is our only 2-prize, or I'm sorry, actually 3-prize attacker, and it's really not in any danger most of the time being Guzma'd up and just picked off unless you're going against a grass deck. That's the reason we're not playing anything like that. However, I do kind of think this deck might need something like that. We might need a Marshadow. I think that might be a decent compromise just because it doesn't give up 2 prizes, but it can sometimes bail us out of a dead hand. So that might be something going forward to look at. Also, I think Volcanion Prism Star is another thing after getting in some games with this thing that I might want to find space for. That seems like a solid alternate like backup attacker. A lot of times your math in this deck is a little awkward, while you're attacking with Articunos and stuff. So sometimes Volcanions spread and its 100 damage can sometimes soften things up to where they are, primed to be, knocked out on the following turn. So those are some potential options, and a lot of people have been trying out Quagsire and Naganadel, that type of engine with Wailord I've seen. I think after getting in some games, I think I do like that more, but nevertheless, this is definitely a fun alternate take on Wailord. I think a deck kind of like this actually won a small tournament in Japan, so this archetype does have, I think, some potential here. But anyways, let's take a look at the rest of the deck. Like I said, we're not playing any like support Pokemon like Lele or Marshadow, so we have to play an actual like high count of physical supporters in this deck. We're playing 10 in total. I'm sorry, 12. So we have our staples, 4 Cynthia, 4 Lily, of course, but then we have 2 Erica's Hospitality. This is a new card we're getting out of Team Up, so just a nice alternate form of draw power. And we have 2 copies of Tate and Liza as well. I definitely think this is the best, 11th and 12th draw supporter spots in the deck. Just a nice shuffle draw 5, but also really do like the ability just to switch. A lot of times this is going to be handy, especially if we start with Wailord. It is going to be a pain getting it out of the active spot. So I really like this over something like, I don't know, Copycat or Sophocles or Sightseer or something like that. So yeah, that's going to be our draw support. We of course also have 3 copies of Guzma as well. Then from there, not too much else too fancy. We have 3 Brookwood Hills to more easily search out our water Pokemon. We have 4 Ultra Balls, 4 Candy, and 3 Aqua Patch. It might seem like an odd number. Typically you see Aqua Patch and as a 4 count. But one thing I've actually kind of found with this deck is you really don't even make much use of Aqua Patch until kind of the late game. So playing, I think as a general rule of thumb, I like 4 counts of cards that I want to see on the first turn or as soon as possible. And Aqua Patch really isn't quite like that in this deck, so that's why I'm going for the 3 count of it instead of a 4th one. I opted to cut my 4th one for an extra basic energy because I think it's going to be more important that we can optimize our results with Blastoise a little bit more. So that's why we're playing the lower count of this. I actually think there's an argument to be made that you could even cut this entirely for other cards, but Aqua Patch still seems like a strong card in the late game, so I still want to run some copies of it here. And then from there, just 2 Choice Band, really important card because Wailord hits for 180, so we're going to need Choice Band to knock out 190 HP Pokemon or 210 HP Pokemon like Zoroark, just as an example. So really need that to augment our math in a couple of situations. And then from there, 16 Water Energy, a pretty high count, but like I said, we really need to run a pretty high count in here to ensure Blastoise can consistently hit energy off of its ability. I think I had one list at one point that had like 12 to 14, and I was whiffing with Blastoise's ability more often than I really wanted to, so I opted to, kind of beef up this energy count, kind of similar to what we've seen in decks like Blacephalon, just as an example. But yeah, guys, that's going to be the list that we're running with. Not a whole lot of bells and whistles, pretty straightforward, fun little deck we have here, but let's hop into some games and show off how this thing looks in action. Alrighty guys, looks like we have ourselves a game here, just going to call the coin flip, which we do win. Definitely good with this deck. Going second actually is pretty bad because you want to be able to get an attachment on Articuno on your first turn without like the fear of it being knocked out on your opponent's turn. So going first is always going to be good here. Unfortunately, we are taking a mulligan though. That's not what we want to see. So here we're just going to refresh our hand. And ooh, that is a terrible hand, I have to say. It's crazy. I play decks all the time that run like 8 draw supporters or something like that, and I always have a way to get them, but playing... Okay, never mind. I'm gonna stop whining. We did top deck a draw supporter. That's good. So we're playing against Lost March here. This, in theory, should be a pretty good matchup for us. Okay, that's actually a really good hand, too. Unfortunately, we don't have an Articuno to start with. But nevertheless, we have Rare Candy Blastoise ready to go on the next turn. But the reason I say this should be a pretty good matchup for us is because if we can ever set up Towering Splash GX, we just win because, you know, the only Pokemon Lost March 10 to plays that has over 100 HP is going to be a Rangaroo, and even in that case, a lot of lists are cutting them. As you can see, based on what our opponent has, they're trying to play the Emolga style engine to, you know, give them targets for Lost Mixer, make their Pokemon communication stronger. So I'm thinking everything in our opponent's deck is going to be able to be knocked out by our Wailord. So we'll have to see how this is going to go, but I think on paper this should be a good matchup for us. Okay, and just pass from there. I like that. So we'll Rare Candy into Blastoise here. Trying to think, do we want to evolve into Wartortle? But it has a 2 retreat cost, so I think I honestly might just Cynthia here. So I really want to find an Articuno. That would be ideal. And nice, we do find Brookwood Hill, so that will do the trick for us. So that's really good. Taking out these Hop-Ups, of course, is going to be really important. And here, I really want to make sure that I can get an energy off Blastoise's ability. So I'm just trying to think, do we play this Ultra Ball? And I kind of want to. At the same time, I don't really want to get rid of these resources, but I think this is too big of a turn to not take a knockout. So here I'm just going to thin an extra card out of the deck, and sure, we can hit some energy off this Blastoise. And nice, we actually hit 3. That's really, really good. So here we'll go 2 on Articuno, and I think we put 1 on Blastoise, because we're going to move one of those energies to... Here's trying to think where we put our attachment for turn. We could do Blastoise. That seems okay. And then we'll just Cold Cyclone, and we can move this energy back to Articuno. So you guys can kind of see how this deck is going to be setting up. You put on kind of like a little bit of pressure with these Articunos until you have some Blastoises up and running to be able to flood your board with energy on the Wailord. And what's really nice about this too is as you're building up a Wailord, your opponent can't Guzma you because of Articuno's ability. So your opponent is playing a Great Ball. Let's see what they're going to find here. No doubt they're going to be looking for some Skiplooms. But okay, so they had Skiploom in hand. Now they do need to start getting some other Hop-Ups because, you know, as soon as we get Wailord up and running, our opponent's going to be in pretty bad shape here. Alright, so we're going to see a DCE come down on Natu. We're going to see this Emolga use its ability. And okay, they're not going to get anything off the Emolga. Very interesting. And here we're going to see a Lost March. Just doing 60 damage to the Articuno. That is definitely unfortunate for our opponent. Here we can Brookwood. I'm going to get ourselves another Articuno, just because, like I said, we want to keep cycling through these until we're ready for Wailord. So here, just try to think, do we go for Blastoise's ability first? Because we're going to need 2 attachments. So I think I want to do this. Well, yeah, I kind of like going for this. Yeah, and that worked out good. I was kind of worried about synthing into a bunch of energy and reducing our chances of this ability working. So I think we did the right thing here, using the ability first. Then we'll put one of those energies onto our Wailord as well. So here we're just going to go for Cynthia. Alright, so we find ourselves a Wartortle. That's actually pretty nice as well. If we can set up 2 Blastoise, that seems pretty impressive. So we're just going to go for a Cold Cyclone here. Knocking out Natu, and yeah, let's throw all of that onto our Wailord. That seems pretty good here. So we're starting to threaten a Towering Splash GX here. Our opponent definitely is going to have to, I think really this is their turn to get down their Hop-Ups because, oh, but here we just get the victory screen. That is fine by me as well. So I guess they didn't have too much to work with there, but like I said, I think that was a matchup we were kind of favored for anyways. So we are going to lose the coin flip in this game. Definitely not as fun as in the first game, but let's see what we can make happen. Okay, it's actually a pretty decent little opening hand. Yeah, we'll bench the other Articuno as well. So we have a draw supporter, we have energy, so this looks okay. So we're going against a Lightning deck, and since we're seeing Raikou, I'm assuming this is going to be like Pikachu Zekrom. I think that's probably a safe assumption. It probably isn't Zapdos. Yeah, we see the Pikachu Zekrom hit the bench there. And we're going to see a Zapdos as well. Okay, Zapdos and Raikou actually could be a bit of a problem because our Articunos are actually weak to Lightning. Well, I guess that doesn't matter too much in the case of Zapdos, but Zapdos knocks us out either way, even without the weakness. And okay, just to pass over to us. So I think we're going to attach to the bench just because if our opponent has an Electro Power, this active Articuno just gets knocked down. We don't want that. Oof. That hand, unfortunately, is not too good, but what we can do, I kind of want to do this. We can use our opponent's Viridian Forest and discard a water energy to grab a water out of deck. And here we can make use of Aqua Patch as well. So we'll do that, and we will just pass. In the process, we get Thin a card out of our deck. So let's see what our opponent is going to do this turn. Like I said, they're probably just going to be looking for an Electro Power to just kind of blow through these Articunos. This actually seems like kind of a sketchy matchup for us. Of course, we'll have to see how it goes here, but another Lightning Energy from our opponent. So let's see what they're going to try to do here. Like I said, I think they're really just going to be looking for Electro Power, but here just another Booming Thunder for 60. That's fine by me, actually. Well, in a way, I kind of wish they would have knocked this out, but actually get Guzma. That's interesting. Yeah, I actually kind of like this. What we can do here is we can attach to this Articuno. We can Guzma, I think we Guzma the Pikachu Zekrom without energy to try to strand it. Because if we do that, it forces them to have something like Tapu Koko GX or a Zeraora, an attachment to get out of the active. And here I'm just trying to think, do we attach the Choice Band just yet? I don't want to attach just yet. If we can strand this thing successfully for a turn, then I will attach the Choice Band then. I think then it does change our math. Because then two Cold Cyclones can knock out. Here, opponent's going to go for a Guzma, and it doesn't work because Articuno's ability is pretty good here. I'm not sure if they were just trying to burn the Guzma out of their hand or what, but they definitely would have liked that. Here, we're going to see them ditching that Choice Band to find an energy. Okay, so that feels pretty good. So here we can... Yeah, I think now we put down the Choice Band because now we're in a position where two Cold Cyclones with a Choice Band actually knock out Pikachu Zekrom. And let's see here. And this is definitely a situation where I wish we had something like Marshadow, just because this hand is really not that great. We can... We're going to try to discard some stuff here just to thin stuff out of our deck. We're going to get rid of the Wailord. I know it doesn't seem great, but we're really not even ready to start powering it up. So I think we're just going to go for a Cold Cyclone here. And like I said, we're going to try to start cycling between these different Articunos. Here we're going to see a Jirachi come down. Okay, that's fine by me. Actually has 70 HP, really nice if they do ever leave it active. Gonna see a Sophocles, okay. So no doubt they're gonna be looking for a Zeraora here, because that will give their Pikachu Zekrom free retreat, but here's just another pass. That's actually kind of annoying though, just because we don't actually have a way to attack. It is unfortunate we do have to, I think, just attach this Articuno, but now we're in a spot where they just played a supporter, so they probably have a way to play another supporter this turn and potentially find Zeraora GX. Or even Tapu Koko, that would also work just fine for our opponent here. So we're going to see a Volkner. Okay, so more likely we're going to see Nest Ball Lightning Energy, if I just had to assume. Or Switch, yeah, that actually works just as well. So let's see what they're going to do here. Imagine we're probably going to see Zapdos knocks out. That seems pretty good. Or they could use Pikachu Zekrom to set up their GX attack. That actually could be good for them as well. Okay, we're going to see the energy come down on Zapdos and a Switch. So let's see who they're going to attack with. Okay, they're going to attack with the Pikachu Zekrom. I'm actually kind of okay with this because actually we're in a position where if we can attack into this Pikachu Zekrom twice, then we can actually set up to where a Towering Splash can knock it out. Or knock out both of them, to be specific here. So I think... Just trying to think, what do we do? We really need to find a draw supporter. And here I'm at the spot where I kind of need to start moving energy to Wailord. It's unfortunate because Pikachu Zekrom can potentially do 170 with its GX attack to us, but I'm kind of thinking we're probably not going to attack with Wailord until we're ready to win the game anyways, so the damage might not even be too important. So here we're just going to do a Cold Cyclone, start softening up this Pikachu Zekrom. And yeah, it kind of hurt getting rid of the rare candy there, but we really need just thin cards out of our deck to ensure that we can finally top deck into a draw supporter or something. So we're going to see an energy switch come down over here. So yeah, it looks like they are gearing up to do a big GX attack. So I'm imagining they're going to do like 200 to the active and then probably 170 to Wailord. Now actually knocking out both Articunos could be interesting here, but okay, they are just going to target down Wailord. That's fine too. Yeah, I guess if they did knock out both Articunos, they would run the risk of me having an energy to knock out this Pikachu Zekrom. Okay, I think we just use Viridian Force. We can't really afford to miss an energy attachment right now. We don't have a lot going on in our hands, so we really have to discard every resource we can to ensure that we have energy. So we're going to go for a Cold Cyclone here, and now, like I said, we're in a good spot to where this Wailord can actually start doing some serious damage. So right now, our opponent kind of needs to, as weird as it sounds, they might need to attack with this Pikachu Zekrom, because if they move it to the bench, I just use their Viridian Force to get an energy and knock out both Pikachu Zekroms. But here they're going for the Zapdos, knocking us out. I think if they were going to do this, they need to... Okay, but they're not going to knock us out, apparently. Oh yeah, they would have needed an Electric Power, that's right. So we're just going to ditch this rare candy. Looks like Blastoise probably isn't going to come out this game. But here we're just going to attach to Wailord here. And let's see what our opponent is going to do. I think they kind of need to attack with one of these Pikachu Zekroms, as much as that's going to hurt them to, you know, kind of lose that attacker or whatever. I think they can knock out Wailord pretty easily the following turn. Here we're going to see an energy switch. Okay. Interesting. But here they just kind of lose. We have all 8 energy, so we can actually use Towering Splash GX and, you know, actually take 7 prizes because we can knock out Jirachi as well. It's very important to note. So yeah, we'll just promote old Wailord here. Hey, and we get draw support. Yeah, let's play some more cards. And okay, that's fine. Yeah, I guess we can attach Choice Band. Doesn't really make a difference. Here we'll just go for Towering Splash, and our opponent conceded on us before we got to actually do it. That's annoying. I wanted to see all the Pikachu Zekroms get knocked out, but anyways, yeah, we won that one pretty good there. I definitely think they should have attacked with a Pikachu Zekrom on their last turn, but nevertheless, we're gonna head over to another game here, see what we can make happen. We've been doing okay so far. And I actually really do like this hand. Even though we are starting the Squirrel, we have Brooklet in hand, so we can actually freely retreat into an Articuno. Alright, we're seeing a Charizard deck box, so I'm not sure how much that tells us. Could be the new Charizard from Team Up, and yes, we'll gladly take all of those mulligan cards. And okay, Zero Aura, so another Lightning deck, that's fine by me. So here we're going to go for Brooklet Hill. Grab ourselves an Articuno here, get down an energy attachment on it, and I'm trying to think. We can Ultra Ball, get rid of a water, that's definitely a given. We could go for a second water even, that seems kind of okay, or we could get rid of a draw supporter. So yeah, we'll get rid of both waters. Of course we run 3 Aqua Patches. And I think we just go for... Yeah, we can go for Squirtle. I don't think we're probably in danger of being knocked out. That's the only reason I'm going for the Squirtle instead of the Articuno, but we do draw into another Articuno anyway, so that is fine by me, so we can retreat. And yeah, we'll just throw this Articuno up and pass. Like I said, we're probably not going to be knocked out. Well, I shouldn't say that. It really depends on what we're playing against. Maybe actually would have been better to leave Squirtle active. I guess we'll have to wait and see what we're going against here, because if this is like a Zapdos deck, they actually do have the means of probably knocking us out on the first turn. Okay, we're going to see a Vulpix hit the bench. Very interesting. Not really sure what this could be. There's not too many Zero Aura decks that play Vulpix in them, or vice versa. Alright, so we're seeing a Lele. This might tell us what we're playing against if they go for an Elm or something like that. Okay, so we're going to see a Lily. So they're probably not playing a bunch of 60 HP basics, maybe outside of the Vulpix if we're going to see a Lily here. Mysterious Treasure, very interesting. So maybe this is like Rayquaza? Here we're going to see a Marshadow, kind of a bummer, kind of did like this hand. But I guess that's okay. Alright, so let's see what we can get off of this Marshadow here. Okay, we do get Erica's. That's actually pretty great. Grubbin's going to hit the board. Okay, so this is probably going to be Rayquaza if I just had to guess then. And a Pikachu Zekrom. Interesting. So maybe this is just like Zero Aura Vikavolt? Interesting. So here I'm going to attach to Articuno, and we're going to Brooklet, get out another Articuno. That seems good, because we want to kind of cycle through all of these for the rest of the game until we're ready to attack with this Wailord. Unfortunately, we don't have an Ultra Ball or a Blastoise or a Wartortle. We had the rare candy, but nevertheless, we can... I think I'm actually going to attach the Choice Band, because if we do that, we're in a position where Wailord's GX attack can actually take a knockout on this Zero Aura at some point, or if they don't knock out our Articuno, if we find Blastoise on the next turn, we will have the means of knocking out this Zero Aura as well. So we're going to see energy come down on Pikachu Zekrom. That's fine by me. And we're just going to see a retreat. That is also fine by me. So let's see what our opponent is going to grab here. So I'm assuming an Alolan Ninetales. That seems like a safe assumption. But beyond that, I'm just trying to think where they're going to get. Okay, they're going to go for a Vikavolt. Okay, so if that's the case, I am definitely going to knock out this Vulpix. Here I'm going to use Tate and Liza. We're going to switch. Tate and Liza kind of coming in handy here, as you can see. Yeah, sure, we can attach... I was trying to think, are they relying on this Ninetales to get their rare candy? If so, I kind of want to attach to the active. And yeah, we can Aqua Patch as well, I guess. I feel like it doesn't hurt. Or we could wait to save our Aqua Patches for our Wailord at some point, to try to power Wailord more quickly out of nowhere. So here we will just move both of these. Sure. Or actually, no, we probably should have moved them to the other one, because we kind of want to save this Articuno with the Choice Band. But our opponent's just going to promote this Zero Aura. So if that's the case, that's completely fine by me. Alright, so they're playing a 2-2 Ninetales. Very interesting. And just a retreat into this Marshadow. That is fine by me yet again. So kind of like how we're doing right now with this whole game, guys. So I think we definitely attach to the active. That's fine. And I think we might start trying to set up Wailord, I guess. Sure, we can Aqua Patch. Just try to thin some more cards out of our deck. Now, the only thing I don't like about this situation... do we Lily here or Cynthia? Like, we have Rare Candy, so it's tempting to, like, try to hit Ultra Ball or Blastoise off the one card, but... Alright, this hand is okay, I suppose. Still no Blastoise in sight, but you know what? We're doing kind of okay here. So we can go ahead and Cold Cyclone. And sure, we can move both those to Wailord. So let's see, what are they going to do here? So they're going to evolve into Ninetales, and I'm assuming they're going to get Rare Candy Vikavolt this turn, since we knocked out their Vulpix before and they couldn't evolve into it. But I feel pretty decent about the spot that we're in right now. We're actually just kind of like 2 Guzmas away from winning, because we could potentially Guzma Lele for a knockout, and then use Towering Splash GX to knock out Zero Aura at some point as well. Or ideally, if we can just knock out the Zero Aura with this Articuno on the bench, that would be even better. So let's see what our opponent is thinking about doing here. We're going to see an Ultra Ball. Alright. So what do they really want here? If they don't have a draw supporter, might see a Lele. Okay, gonna go for Tapu Koko. Seems like a pretty good card. We're gonna see them use that ability. It's gonna let them get 2 lightning energies out of their discard pile, 1 to 2 different Pokemon. So we'll see one onto the... Okay, I guess they just had the one in the discard. That's fine. Pikachu Zekrom is really the only thing they want to power up right now anyways. So we're gonna see a strong charge and start powering up this Pikachu Zekrom. Here they're going to go for a Guzma, and a couple of our opponents seem to not know what Articuno does, because this Pikachu Zekrom was not able to Guzma up anything. Here they're just going to take a knockout on us, that's fine. And this is actually a situation I really wish we would have attacked with... Or put that energy on Articuno last turn, but what do we do? What do we do? Actually, you know what? I think I do remember misplaying in this game. So I am going to promote Articuno. I guess that's fine. I actually think I probably should have attacked with Wailord this turn. Because if I did 180, then even if they retreat this Pikachu Zekrom, then we can always knock out that and these Aura with Towering Splash. So I'm going to get down another energy on Wailord. That seems good, I suppose, because if we really want to, we can always move this water energy on the active Articuno to a different one with our attack. So I think I like just putting that there. And we're going to go for a Cynthia. I don't know if our opponent plays Field Blow or not, so I kind of want to hang on to our second choice band. And here, yet again, no rare candy Blastoise. We do have the Blastoise, just no candies this time. No Wartortle either. So here we're just going to do 100 to this Pikachu Zekrom. And we're going to... I think we have to move it to an Articuno here. Like, yes, it would put us 1 energy away from using Towering Splash, but I do think this is a misplay. I definitely think I messed this one up, guys. So I guess one thing we could do is, like... We could, like, Guzma Towering Splash, like, try to Guzma something just to stall our opponent. Okay, they're going to get a second Zeraora. That actually kind of takes that play away. Ooh, and they have Aether Paradise. That's actually really terrible for us. So, yeah, I definitely think I messed up moving the energy to the Wailord. I think we needed to just keep attacking with the Articunos for a little bit longer here. So they're going to go for Tag Bolt GX, and now we're in kind of a sketchy spot because... we can't really attack with Wailord because it can be knocked out. And yeah, so like I said, I think I definitely misplayed there. Moving the energy to the Wailord got just a little bit too aggressive, I think, this game. Now, having said that, if we find Rare Candy Blastoise, I think we can actually still win this, because if we just force our opponent to keep dealing with Articunos, then we're going to be in a decent spot. So here, I guess we can put down the other Wailord, and here, just kind of conceding this Articuno is going to get knocked out. Ouch. And this hand is pretty bad. And this Aether Paradise is actually going to be really bad for us. We really need to find a Brookwood Hill of our own to bounce this stadium. So our opponent's going to use Strong Charge and not get anything. That's actually pretty big for us. So they're going to do 300 to this Articuno. Pretty ridiculous. And yeah, we'll just promote this one. Nice. And we do hit Rare Candy Blastoise. That is actually pretty important. However, we already have gone through a good bit of energy, so I'm not sure how many we have left in deck, but at least this might help us thin the deck a little. Okay. So we'll put one on the active, one on the other benched Wailord. If we can successfully set up this Wailord, that would actually be better than our damaged one. And here we're in a good spot. We just need Brookwood Hill to get rid of the stadium, and we can actually Guzma and take a knockout on this Pikachu Zekrom and this Zeraora at the same time. So that's kind of my game plan right now. I'm thinking we Guzma Ninetales. I think that's probably going to be our best option here. Or maybe even Vikavolt. Either one of those seems okay. But here we're just going to see a full Blitz, and so I think we promote the fresh Wailord, because If we don't hit Brookwood Hill off this top deck, or if we do hit Brookwood Hill, we can still Guzma. And if we don't hit Brookwood Hill, we can just take a knockout with this Wailord here. So I think that's probably the play. We need Brookwood. And unfortunately that is not a Brookwood Hill. Yeah, this is definitely a situation where I wish we had something like a Marshadow, because then we could have attempted to find one here as well. So I guess we'll just... I guess we can attach to... I really don't think it matters at this point, because this Wailord's going to be swung on the following turn if they don't Guzma us and KO our benched one. So I think it's fine just setting up this one here in case of like a Marshadow or something like that. So here we just have to go for a Super Splash, unfortunately. So we are going to get 3 prizes, which is definitely cool. And there's Brookwood Hill. Okay, so as long as... I mean, I guess even without the Brookwood Hill, as long as our opponent doesn't have Guzma this turn, we can just Guzma and win. So, big moment of truth from our opponent here. Okay, they do have Thunder Mountain. And they do have the Guzma. That's actually really annoying because they were out of energy as well. Alright, so our opponent is going to just knock out our Wailord. So you guys can see, I got a little bit greedy. I definitely think we should have stayed committed to the Addkison strategy for a little bit longer. That way we could have potentially set up that Pikachu Zekrom for like a big towering splash at some point. But nevertheless, still had fun showing off the deck here. And like I said earlier, a big thanks to TRBarron and the rest of our patrons over at patreon.com/rarecandytcg. If you guys do want to become part of our community over there and have a bigger say over the types of content we put out, like I said, I will have a link down below in the description. So if you can as well, feel free to like and subscribe and consider supporting this channel by becoming a patron like I mentioned, or by picking up some merch from our online store, rarecandytcg.com. It would mean a lot. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.